to give you the introduction, go through the whole little process. That's why I wanted you on the phone so you can kind of hear it. And so here's your first experience on the podcast show. Now I have the introduction. All what I'm doing right now can be edited out. So I'm gonna give you the introduction. I have my beat, and then I have the little intro, and then I'll go into the topic of what the episode is called. And I sometimes I'll throw the date in there if I can remember it. Sometimes I don't. What's today? Oh, the 6th. Okay. So here we go. I'm gonna hit the beat. I'm gonna start recording now. And then I'm gonna hit the beat, and then it's gonna be an intro, and then I'm gonna talk, and then you'll know when I invite you in. So here we go.
Hello, and I want to thank you for tuning in to another Never Give Up Productions Life the Podcast Show episode, hosted by the one and only, the greatest host in the world, Othello, the most eligible bachelor in the world, and you're listening to him at Never Give Up Productions Life the Podcast Show.
Hello. Now, we can start with this little intro because I know that had you tripping.
Who's like the most eligible bachelor in the world? Okay.
Yeah, I've been having that since the podcast came on. Every time I hear it, I start laughing, right? And I'm the one that wrote it. I'm the one that did it. And it just cracks me up every time. I kid you not. It cracks me up every time. So that's the little beat. I made that. I got some tweaking to do to it, but I just left it like it was. I'm like, you know what? I like the way it sounds. You know, now the professional music producers here, they may hear the stuff that I know that's there already. But I like it just like that for the time being. And so I'm going to leave it alone. And but now, so today.
Hello.
This topic
Now,
is something that
we can start with this little intro because I know
been tugging
that
at
had
me
you
for a long
tripping.
time. And then when I see it all over social media and interacting with women, it just kind of bugs me. And so I sat down. And
I've been having that since the podcast came on. Every time I hear it, I start laughing, right? And I'm the one that wrote it. I'm the one that did it, and it just cracks me up every time. I kid you not, it cracks me up every time. So
by the way,
that's the little beat. I made that. I got some tweaking to do to it, but I just left it like it was. I was like, you know what? I like the way it sounds. You know. Now the professional music producers here, they may hear the stuff that I know that's there already.
And so,
but
I came up with this.
I like it just like that for the time being. And so I'm gonna leave it alone. And but now, so today I have this topic.
Hopefully, it creates
is something that has
people some thoughts.
Been tugging at me for a long time
about how
and then when I see it all over social media
it makes some positive
and interacting with women, it just kind of bugs me. So I sat down and I put some thought into this, and I titled it "Value." Right?
It goes
because I don't think that
what
women give themselves a high value rating.
Your value.
By the way that, and I come to that conclusion because the way they allow themselves to be treated. Because in my opinion, you can only be treated the way, if you allow it, can only be done to you. Ingredient, you know,
that describes our values.
So
yeah, like
I came up with this.
Oh, go ahead.
And
so
hopefully,
if I were to describe myself as far as my worth,
Either
what
I
I
get
think,
educated
the
or
type of
somebody
person
else
I
gets
am,
educated, or we all get
um,
educated. Hopefully, it creates some
and
conversation
what I
between
have to
people,
offer,
some
bring to the
thoughts
table.
to make them just sit down
Is
and
that what you mean
think
by ingredient?
about how they're being treated,
Um,
and hopefully, it makes some
just your
positive changes.
qualities, nothing financial or
So,
anything like that. Just what things
my
do you
first
describe that
question
you have in you that you describe
to a
as
woman would
valuable?
be, and since you're a woman,
Like
just I'll ask you the question.
your
It
worth.
goes,
How do you value yourself
women,
like that? You know, like some
what
women will say, "Oh,
ingredients
Right.
I got $800,000
do
in the
you
bank. I
use to
own my
describe
home. I
your
own my
value?
car.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this and that, and so therefore I'm valuable." So,
Right.
how would you
Um,
rate yourself?
I would say that um,
What?
my value would be
Yeah, like if you
communication.
were, oh, go ahead.
I would be able to bring that to the table. I think that not a lot of people actually understand what it is to communicate. You know, it's not just talking, but it requires listening and understanding as well. And we don't do that anymore.
Mm.
We talk just to get our own point heard and across.
Um,
But it's
just your
not, you know,
qualities,
that
nothing
two-way
financial or
exchange.
anything like that. Just
9 times
what
out of 10,
things do you
even if you
describe
are
that you
quiet
have
during a
in you that you
conversation or when
describe
you're
as
communicating with
valuable?
someone, you're just waiting for them to stop talking
Like
so that you can say what you have to say.
your worth.
Mm.
How
So
do you value yourself
yeah,
like
having that
that? You
full
know, like some
understanding
women will
of
say, "Oh, I got
communication is
eight
something
hundred
that I
thousand
would say
dollars
I
in the
have to
bank. I
offer.
own my home. I own my
Um,
car. You know, this and that, and
Another
so
thing
therefore I'm
would be
valuable."
my
So,
mental,
how would
um,
you
because I'm definitely
rate
not a
yourself?
simple-minded person. So I do have that to offer to someone or to any type of relationship, whether it's with a male or just a friendship. I think being able to challenge someone mentally to offer that growth is super important. So I would have that to offer as well. Um, I think that um, loyalty is something that is really important.
Mm.
And I just think that the society that we're in today is just so different. I'm honestly like just an old fashioned type of a person. So like my morals and values are very old fashioned. And I think that that's really hard
Mm.
to come across nowadays because everything is so superficial. Um, and even if someone does claim to be loyal, which means what? What does that mean? That you're going to stand by someone's side, you know, like no matter what, is it someone that you can trust to call on or, you know, whatever. I think that it's definitely all of the above, but I don't think that it should come with conditions. So if I'm loyal to you, I'm telling you that I'm going to be there for you no matter what. Even if it's, you know, a bad situation, we'll figure it out together. Whether it be a male or a female, having that bond and that commitment is super important. There's no condition, you know, like I don't need anything in exchange. Like you have my trust, you have my loyalty, my commitment to you. And I just I don't think that we just have old fashioned values anymore. So outside of me being able to mentally help grow someone, me being loyal to that relationship, financially being able to help someone grow. You know, there's just so many different attributes that I have that I can bring to the table. Ingredients, as you said.
Yeah.
You know, it honestly is endless,
And
and it's genuine. So
and the reason why I call it ingredients because I in my mind when I say ingredients, it's like something I brought to you the other day about cooking. You know what I'm saying? You get out and you take all these seasonings and your whatever you're going to cook for food and this and that, and then you take it and you put it all together. You mix it all up together and you prepare it and you cook it, and then when it's done, you have this magnificent dinner. You know what I'm saying? So,
right,
and when I'm thinking, you know, value and quality is at the end of it, I have a magnificent mate because they're
right,
made up of all these quality ingredients. And so now my next thing is men. I'm going to answer that one. How we rate that, because the question is, men.
Okay.
What ingredients do you use to describe the value of a woman? Now, this is how we.
And the
see
reason why I call it
first.
ingredients, because I in my mind, when I say ingredients, it's like something I
So
brought
let me
to
just
you
give
the
it
other
to you
day
like
about
this. Let me
cooking.
give it to
You know
you.
what I'm
Before I get to
saying?
that
You
part,
get
let me
out
say
and you
this.
take all these
Let's say
seasonings and you're
I'm
wherever
in
you're
my
going to
car
cook for food and
and
this
I'm
and
out
that,
and
and
about
then you
in-
take it
in
and
public.
you put it all
And
together.
I'm
You mix it
going to
all
the
up
store.
together and you prepare it and you cook
Whether
it,
I'm
and
going
when it's
into the store or
done,
coming out of the
you
store,
have this
I run into
magnificent
and I'm like, oh wow, she
dinner.
bad.
You know what I'm saying?
Right? That's the
So,
first thing you
and
see.
when I'm
'Cause
thinking,
we all,
you
we
know,
all
value
have
and
this, we all
quality
have this
is
little thing
at the end
in
of
our
it,
head
I have
that
a
says that
magnificent
person
mate
is bad to me
because they're
but
made
she's
up of all
attractive or
these
he's attractive. Blah, blah, blah.
quality
So
ingredients.
then we go there,
Um,
and
And so
I look around for
now my
the
next
woman's
thing
hand,
is
and I'll see if
men.
there's a ring
I'm
on
going
it
to
or
answer
not.
that
If
one.
there's no
How
ring on it, then
we
I will approach her. I'll introduce myself,
rate that.
and
Because the question is,
I'll go
men,
from there.
what
And
ingredients
normally, if she's attached to someone,
do you
then I'll get
use
that
to
at that
describe the value
most
of a
of the time,
woman?
depending on the
Now, this
quality.
is how we
Right.
see
You know
you
what I'm
when we
saying?
first see
'Cause
you.
they're looking back at the
Right.
value too to see if they can upgrade. You know what I'm saying? So
So let me
Right.
just give it
Some
to you like
lines in there
this. Let me give it to you.
sometimes,
Before I get to that part, let me
then
just
I'll
say
go
this.
from there. And
Let's
then we
say
chit chat.
I'm in my car and I'm out and
then
about
we'll exchange
in the
numbers
public.
because I got
And
this
I'm
part
going
out
to
the way.
the
I have
store.
steps. I got that part out the way.
Whether I'm going
And
into
now
the store or coming out of
we
the
got the
store, I
part
run
that we can
into you.
interact with one
And I'm
another
like,
out the
oh,
way.
wow, she bad.
Now we're gonna have this telephone.
Right? That's the first thing you
because
see.
now I need to see
Because
what's
we all
upstairs.
we
I
all
need to
have
check
this
your
we
mental,
all have this little
right?
thing
So
in
we
our
can
head
hold
that says
conversations and
that
this and
person
see
is
what your
is
topics are
bad to
about.
me. Like
If
she's
there's some
attractive or
substance
he's
to it.
attractive, blah blah
So
blah.
then we
So
do
then
some
we go
steps like
there,
that that I
and
go
then
through.
me,
And,
I look around for the
Then
at the
so
woman's
then I'll
hands,
look at
and I'll
during the
see if
process
there's a
of
ring
this.
on it or not.
It's almost
If
like an
there's no
interview.
ring on it,
I'll go
then
through
I will
It
approach
is.
her.
and I'll do
I'll
this
introduce
thing with the
myself,
ingredients. It says,
and I will go from
how
there.
what ingredients
And normally, if she's attached to someone,
um,
then I'll
do
get
you
that
use
at
to
that
describe the
moment.
value of a woman? Well,
Most of the time, depending
I
on the
want to know how
quality
she
of the
sees
person.
herself.
You know what I'm saying? Because they're looking back
She
at the
looks in the
value
mirror. What do
too
you see?
to see if they can upgrade. You know what I'm saying? So
And I want to
you will
know
get some lines in there sometime, but
if there's a
then I'll go
group
from there, and
of
then
women,
we'll chit
any
chat. You
large
know,
group, small group, doesn't matter.
then
Whether
we'll
it's at
exchange
a
numbers
meeting,
because I
whether
got
it's
this
at a
part out the way. I have
concert or
steps. I got
whatever,
that part out the
there's
way,
a group
and
of
now
nothing but women.
we got the part that we can
What
interact with one another out the
separates
way.
you
Now we're gonna have this telephone
from that
conversation
group
because now I
of
need
women?
to see
Because
what's
all of
upstairs.
you
I
are
need to
women.
check your mental, right?
So I have an
See if you can
answer that I'm
hold
looking
conversations
for,
and this and that,
and
and
I'm
see what
pretty
your
sure there's
topics
a
are
couple of
about.
ways that it
If
can
there's some
be
substance in
that
there.
it can mean the
So
same
then
thing.
it's just
But
steps like that that I
at
go
the end
through.
of the day, what I'm looking
And
for is her to say that
then
one
so
of the
then
things that
I'll look
separates
at
me
during the
from the
process
rest
of
of the
this.
women is
It's
that I'm
almost
a
like an
leader.
interview. I'll go through
Now
and I'll
that
do
title
this
right
thing with
there
the ingredients.
has
It
a
says, you know,
definition of its own. It
how do-
carries
what
a level
ingredients
of behavior and all that.
um,
So
do
that's
Right.
you
one of the
use to
things,
describe
right?
the value of
So
a
then
woman?
that's
Well,
how she sees herself as a lady. So
I
that's
want to know
good.
how
That's a
she
thumbs
sees
up right
herself.
there. So then the
When
next
she
thing
looks
is
in the mirror,
how
what do you see?
it says
Right? And
how
I
she
want to
handles. I want
know
to get into things like how she handles
if there's
finances. I don't
a
want to know your
group
finances.
of women,
I just
any
want to know how
large
you
group,
handle
small group, doesn't
because we're
matter.
not there yet.
Whether it's
I
at
don't think we should
a
be
meeting,
into
whether it's
finances
at a
unless we have already
concert or
coming up
whatever,
under the
right?
same roof.
There's a group of nothing
Right.
but women.
So I want to know
What
how you handle finances
separates
because
you
I know at the end of the day,
from that
where I'm
group
trying to
of
go
women?
with this
Because
person
all of you are women.
is a marriage, right?
So
trying to
I have an
make
answer
this
that I'm
one.
looking
So I
for,
need to know,
and I'm pretty
what
sure
am I
there's a
getting
couple of
myself
ways
into,
that it
right?
can be
What kind of bad
that it can
habits are
mean the
there?
same
What can be
thing.
broken?
But
What can be
at
changed?
the end of the day,
and
what I'm
can
looking for is her to
compromises be made?
say that
So
one of the
I wanna
things
know
that
how she
separates
handles
me
finances.
from the
And
rest of the
if
women
you're willing
is that I'm a
to
lady.
go
Now
out
that title right there
and
has a
purchase
definition
a,
of its
let's
own.
say,
It carries a
go out
level
and
of behavior
purchase
and all that. So that's one of the
brand
things, right?
new
So then
BMW.
that's how she sees herself as a
I'm not
lady. So that's a
even
good,
so
that's a
even
thumbs up right there. So then the next thing is how
So we use BMW.
it
Right?
says
Now there's a
how she
thing that
handles. I
people
want to get
think-
into things like
there's a
how
way
she
that people
handles
think
finances.
that
I don't want to know
says,
your finances.
I can
just wanna
afford
know how you
it
handle.
just because I
because we're not there yet. I don't think we should be including finances unless we have already coming up under the same roof.
affording it. is being
So,
able to
I wanna know
care
how you
of it
handle
for the time
finances.
that you have it.
Because I know at the end
So
of the
when
day,
maintenance is needed, can
where
you
I'm trying
cover
to go
that?
with this person
You see what I'm saying?
is
So
a marriage,
all that,
right?
can you
I'm
afford the
trying to
insurance on
make
it,
this
all that?
one.
Or
So I need
are
to
you
know
getting this
what am I getting myself
BMW
into, right?
just because the
What kind of
logo
bad
of it
habits are there?
makes
What can be
you
broken?
feel a
What
certain
can be
kind of
changed?
way?
Where can the
To
compromises
me,
be
that would
made?
be bad.
So I
with
want to
your
know how she
finances,
handles
spending money.
finances,
That's
and
not wise
if
to
you're
me,
willing
you
to
know, because now you
go
just
out
sunk us
and purchase
$80,000 in the
a, let's
hole.
say,
You know what I'm saying?
you go
And
out
now
and
we're struggling.
purchase
So that means we can't,
a
as
brand
one, we cannot
new
afford this.
BMW.
So we got to
I
downgrade
like
that
BMW,
vehicle.
so we use
So
BMW.
the looking at it
So we use
at the end of the day,
BMW, right?
are you willing
Now,
to go
there's
out
a
and buy
thing that
clothing
people think, there's a
versus
way that people
paying
think
down
that
your
says,
expensive
I can
brand
afford
clothing?
it just
You know what I'm
because
saying?
I
Red
can go and
bottoms,
get it,
Louis
right?
purses,
Right.
instead of
But that's
paying
not
down your
accurate.
debt and raising your credit
Affording
score.
it
You know,
is being able to
and
take
then the
care
other
of
thing
it for the
is,
time that you
does
have
she
it.
respect
So
herself?
when the maintenance is needed, can you cover
You
that?
know, and I know
You see
Aretha
what I'm saying?
Franklin said
So
it.
all that, can you
You know,
afford the
but
insurance on it, all
people
that?
really
Or are
understand
you getting
what
this
respect
BMW
means.
just because the logo on it
So I want
makes
to know,
you
does she
feel a
respect
certain kind
herself?
of way?
And the way I
To
would look at
me,
that
that would
is,
be bad with your
there's a
finances,
difference
spending your money.
between,
That's not
like,
wise to
I'm
me,
gonna go at her
you
clothing,
know,
the way she dresses, right?
because now you
The way
just
she
sunk us
dresses, her body language,
$80,000 in the
the
hole.
way she speaks, the words that
You
she
know what I'm saying?
chooses,
And now
right?
we're struggling. So that means we
I'm
can't,
looking at all
as
of that.
one, we cannot afford this.
So the
So we got to
clothing that she
downgrade
has
that
on, yes, it
vehicle.
could be very
So
nice and very well put
that's
together.
one way of this
Some women know how
looking
to
at it
put
that way. And
outfits
then,
together
are
better
you
than
willing
others.
to go out
But
and buy clothing
I'm looking at,
versus
what
paying
does her
down your
outfit
debt?
say to me?
Expensive
Because
brand
a lot of
clothing, you know
women
what I'm saying?
have
Red
this
bottoms, Louis purses,
misunderstanding
instead
of
of
what
paying down
sexy
your
is,
debt
right?
and raising your
They
credit score.
confuse it
You
with
know,
nasty.
and then the
Right.
other
That
thing
is
is,
factual.
does she
And they make
respect
that,
herself?
and they try to wear that like, oh, and
You
that's not
know,
sexy.
and I know Aretha Franklin said
It's
it,
not, when I say
you know,
nasty, because
but I
everybody
don't think
know,
people really
that was my
understand
flavor.
what
You know,
respect means.
I want
Right.
I want the Rick James. I
So
want the
I want to
nasty girl.
know,
You know what I'm
does
saying?
she respect herself? And the way I would look at that is, there's a difference between I'm gonna go at her clothing, the way she dresses, right? The way she dresses, her body language, the way she speaks, the words that she chooses, right? I'm looking at all of that. So the clothing that she has on,
Can you hear
yes,
me?
it could be very nice and very well put together. So women know how
Okay,
to
we
put
was having some
outfits
technical difficulty
together
with
better
that
than others.
mic.
But
Now we're back on.
I'm
Ooh,
looking
the devil
at
don't want this out.
what does her outfit say to me? Because
But
a lot of women
so
have
yeah,
this
so that's one of the
misunderstanding
things
of what
that
sexy
I look
is,
at
right? They confuse
about her
it with
respecting
nasty.
herself, and you know the way she sits down in certain
And
outfits.
they make that, and they try to wear
the way
that
she
like,
moves,
oh,
just her whole
and that's not sexy to me. That's
charisma. You know,
it's not.
how
I'm not
she
saying
moves,
nasty
it
because
says
everybody
body
you know
language, and it
that
says
was my
it's
flavor.
called body language for a
You
reason
know,
because it speaks
I want
volumes.
the Rick James. I want
Everybody
the
can't
nasty girl. You
understand
know what
it,
I'm
but it's
saying?
there.
I want that.
The other thing is, you already said one of these, but I'm gonna throw this one in there.
So yeah. So
For the ingredients, right?
that I look at
Well,
about her respect.
does she love God?
You know, the way she sits down in certain outfits.
That's a big one.
The way she moves, just her whole.
You know, so that's a big plus right there, because that's going to tell me a lot too. Although nobody's perfect, I get that part, but it just tells me the mentality. And then the other thing what you touched on was communication. You know, I want to have someone in my life where we don't have to scream and yell at one another, first of all. I don't want a woman in my life that we got to cuss each other out. You know, I don't want that, you know. So it's just, yeah, things like that, good communication. Yeah, like I say, the list can go on and on and on, but you're never going to find someone totally perfect. But the key ingredients, I think, the main ingredients, like cooking a meal, if you didn't have all the fancy seasonings and all this other stuff, what could you get by with that'll still give you good flavor and make this meal good? Some accent, some pepper, some of that Tony something in the green can with the red letters.
Tony's sriracha.
Yes. You know what I'm saying? That's enough right there where you can put that in there and make something decent come out of it. you know.
Right.
And then the other point I was making on here is, how do men evaluate a woman to see if she has, here's one that's going to probably get people pissed off at me. How do men evaluate a woman to see if she has infinity value or 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. value?
That's enough right there where you can put that in there and make something decent come out of it.
Are you asking me that question?
This is what I'm going. This is the part I'm getting ready to address.
Okay.
Evaluate a woman.
But I know that that 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. value is going to get some people. But I'm just calling it how I lived it. From the moment a man or a guy, because those are different too, sees a woman, he makes up in his mind what direction he wants to go with her.
This is the part I'm getting ready to address.
And that'll be, is it long term? Like I want to get to know her because I want to make her my wife. Because right now, based on what I feel and what I see, I think that's wife material. You don't know until you investigate, but right off the bat, this is what I think and what I feel. Or do I look at her and I see 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. value? You know what 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. value is?
I do. That's a booty call?
Pretty much. You know, I'm going to bring you in at 10 p.m. and I'm going to kick you out at 3 a.m.
Right.
So that's a whole, and how you come to that value. And I'm going to tell you, because I was that guy. I had 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. It's tattooed on my arm. No, it's not. I'm just clowning. But it's the 10 p.m. thing is just like, it's pure lust. That's all it is. It's just pure lust. It's just me looking at something and saying, you know what, I ain't got time for no situationship. I don't have time for nobody hanging on. I ain't got time for no whining and dining. I ain't got time for movies and picnics and all that. I ain't got time for all that with this particular one. So I'm going to pop at her and see if I can include her in the 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. value menu. And so, yeah, that's the ones that don't know how to carry themselves, the ones that think nasty is sexy, because I'm gonna come at you the way you carry yourself. If you carrying yourself in a nasty way, that's the way I'm coming at you. I'm not coming at you to get to know you. I don't even give a damn about your name. I just need to know that we can wham bam, thank you, ma'am, and that's it. And if you cool, we might repeat that. You know, so.
Well, you struck a question, okay? So let's say you got those two different types of women that you just listed. You got the 10 to 3 a.m. and then you got the long-term one. Now, even though you might classify her as a 10 to 3, what if she's not? Because a lot of times, guys will get these good girls, and they have all of these qualities, but because they're mentally not ready for that, they will turn her into that 10 to 3. So then what?
Go ahead.
That's my thing. So then what? You've got these two classifications. That 10 to 3 that you just classified her as, she may not really be a 10 to 3, but because you're not where you need to be, you put her into that type of category, type of level. And because she is a good girl and she may not know her full worth and she's feeling you, she will dummy down. She'll come down to that 10 to 3, you know? So that, I mean, like, then what?
Okay.
Is she really a 10 to 3 type of a chick, or is it really, does that fall on the guy?
I will give you, it's going to fall on the guy, but I'll give you this part. If I value you at 10 to 3, right, and you're not a 10 to 3, I'm going to give you a real life story, real life situation. 2004, I won't say the person's name, but this person lived across the walkway of my sister, same apartment complex. When I went to see my sister, I ran across her. And instantly, of course, it was a lustful thing. And I was like, yeah, in my mind, yeah, that's 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. But I'm also going to want that multiple times. I'm not just going to do the one hit or quitter thing. I need a little bit more of this one, right? So in the process of that, that 10 to 3 turned into a 6-year relationship. Because once I got to know her, I then began to see all of these quality ingredients that was there. And I was like, yeah. And so what I classify as technically a one-night stand turned into a 6-year relationship. And to answer the other part, the reason why it didn't turn into a marriage is because I was not mentally ready. I didn't know I wasn't. I thought I was, but I was not ready to be on her level. I started losing control of things because I got into territory that I'd never been in before. So I was an inexperienced person in this land and didn't know how to navigate it. And so what I classify as technically a one-night stand. So I have had that situation where I was wrong about my judgment. Is because I was not mentally ready. I didn't know I wasn't. I thought I was, but I was not ready. This other thing is what I'm looking at is how does she carry herself in the dark and in the light? Because what that means is, some people, when you're in sight, they operate a certain way. And when you're out of sight, they transform back into who they really are. So I want to know, are these two consistent? What I'm looking at is how does she? So that's one of the things that I want to know, so in the dark and then says, when I'm not around, how you act, how you carry yourself. Is it a very respectful manner? And are your actions, when somebody tells me that they saw you, is it going to be a good report?
Right.
Like somebody say, oh, I saw your woman downtown today shopping. Man, she looked nice. She's, blah, 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 whatever, And it's this that, because I'm not a person that where we call, I don't police my woman. The old school term is I don't handcuff her. I don't care how pretty she is, how nicely shaped she is, or whatever she got going on, whatever people want to look at like that. I don't care, because you're going to do what you're made of, no matter what. And I'm not going to stress myself out trying to make sure you be something that you're not. Everybody knows I was married to that. So I want to know that. And then this other thing is self-esteem. That's a huge one right there. I think on a list of 1 to 10 ingredients, I think self-esteem should be number 1.
That is super important.
Yes.
Okay.
Because how you see yourself, that's important to me, because that sets your own level of value. And if you have a high level of value, everybody's not going to be able to reach that. And I'll give you an example of what I'm saying. Like some guys, right? They'll see we'll say a top 5 woman, which is she got it all together, right? But because she doesn't dress and behave in a way that he's accustomed to, he doesn't know how to approach it. So he'll stay away. So if she ain't walking around with her chest out, with her cheeks out, and this and that, then he don't know how to approach it. So he'll stay away.
Right.
So that's what I mean by if her level is really high and the way she carries herself, it will prevent most of the time, it will prevent the riffraff from coming at her. But then there's some riffraff that's really confident, and they think anything is possible.
So if she ain't walking around,
So, what was it? Self-esteem. Oh, here's one for you. Oh boy, this is another one.
you know, so
What's,
that's what I mean by that.
you know, I'm pretty sure you heard the saying, everybody has a price.
It will prevent
So my question was going to be,
the river from coming at her. But then there's some
like,
crap,
my definition of what's your price,
and they think
and this is something that
so.
men will do.
What was it? Self-esteem.
They will
Oh, here's one for you.
look at a woman, go after a woman, and in their mind, according to how deep their pockets is, they already have a preset limit
I'm pretty sure
of how much money they're willing to spend to get you in the position that they want you in.
to be
So if you got big money,
like,
then you don't mind throwing out some thousands in the sense that,
and this is
oh, I'm going to get her a purse, I'm going to get her this, I'm going to pay some rent, I'm going to move her into an apartment, all this kind of stuff, you know. So
look at a woman, go after.
I know women will think that their value
according to
is based on how much money a man is willing to spend on them.
preset limit
But that's not the case. That doesn't define your value.
to get you.
That tells him how much, it's a contract, how much money he has to spend in order to get
Throwing out some thousands
off.
in the sense that
And to me, that's a form of prostitution.
I'm gonna pay some rent. I'm gonna move.
It just may be colored differently, but that's it. So my question was going to be like, do you think if a male spends a lot of money on you,
It's based
your value is high?
a man is willing to spend.
No.
but
No,
that's not the case.
it doesn't.
Define your value.
If you want an explanation,
It's a
no,
how much
you
money
can't define someone's worth by a dollar amount.
and to me, that's
Which
a
is
form of
crazy because today that's really what it is. Like
But that's it. So
females, we do
the
it.
question was gonna be,
Okay, we'll judge and define a man by what he can buy and what he can do for us.
value is high.
But if you're looking for something genuine, something real, you cannot put a dollar amount on that because whatever it is that she has to offer, you cannot buy it. Because if that was the case, then you could have went and got Keisha up the street, bought her a whole, what are those, Birkin bags or whatever,
Oh,
little red,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
all the
yeah,
things
yeah.
that you know right now. Like, you know, like if that's the case, then you would have went that route. But clearly, it's something that this one over here has that you cannot put a dollar amount on because Keisha not offering it. It's something that's priceless. And 9 times out of 10, it's a classy type of a lady who has her crap together. Who, one, she may not need your finances. She may not need that nice car that you drive in because she has all of that on her own, you know. But she is offering more than just that material aspect of it. She's offering that mental growth that you are looking for, that you may not even know that you wanted. You know, someone to feed you mentally, someone to feed you emotionally. You know, like those types of things you cannot buy. So I don't think that you can put a dollar amount on someone's worth unless she's just that type of a female. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So
You just said something that triggered something in me. One of the things that stimulates me, and I know they have a technical word for it, but I don't know it right offhand. The person can be extremely attractive and very physically built, right?
right.
That's fine and dandy, but the part that really gets me is when I can talk to her
that triggered something.
about anything and any subject. That's the thing for me. So if I want to talk about politics, she's knowledgeable. She's current there, you know. If I want to talk about church, she's current there. If I want to talk about sports, she's current there. If I want to talk about the headlines, she's current there. And she's not just current, but she actually has something very intelligent to add.
Right.
That right there will have me squeezing oranges for you in the morning, making them grits, baking them biscuits.
For me. So if I
You wake up in the morning, you're going to smell it.
was knowledgeable,
You're going to have
Right.
the fancy French toast.
if I wanted to
Just that alone. You know what I'm saying? It's like that part right there is just like, wow, this
talk about
that right there. It's a turn on to me to talk to someone that is intelligent.
current,
You don't have to be a rocket scientist. Just need you to be current. You know, and so that's I put value on that to me.
squeezing oranges
And,
for you in the morning,
And so the thing about the price,
baking them biscuits.
and I got a thing here that gives people a hint.
You're gonna have the fancy French toast.
A guy will spend
Just
a
that
lot of
alone.
money
You know what I'm saying?
on
It's like
things
part
that
right
he
there is like,
knows
wow, this is man,
won't hold its cost.
That right there, it's a turn on
I'll read that again.
to talk to
A
someone.
guy will spend a lot of money
You don't have to be a rocket scientist.
on things that he knows won't hold its cost.
So that's I put
And I give 3 examples to that. Cars.
and so the thing
A guy will go spend on a car quick.
I got a thing here.
Clothes, if he's that type of guy.
A guy
And electronics.
spend a lot of money on
Well,
things that he knows
I'm a car guy.
won't hold its cost.
I am
That
a
you
car
are.
guy. And I am an electronic dude. I am Apple all day. You know what I'm saying? So I will, the clothes I don't really too much care about. I'm not really a clothes dude because I'll jump out in my, like I said, I'll jump out in my Goodwill shorts and my $39 Filas and a liquor store t-shirt and I'm still him, you know?
Right.
And then, so I then, after observing these 3 things, for her, my advice to her is watch. If she's dealing with this guy that's into clothes, cars, and electronics, watch how he cares for
I am
you.
an electronic dude.
I mean, for those items and how he protects those items, right?
The clothes I don't really too much care
And then
about. I'm really a clothes dude 'cause I-
ask yourself,
like I said,
how does he talk to you? How does he care for you? And how does he protect you?
T-shirt and I'm still him.
The material girl.
And then so I then after
Okay.
observing these 3 things
You know,
for her,
like you got to ask yourself that, you know,
if she
how does he
that's into clothes,
care for
cars,
you?
electronics, watch how he cares for you.
Because a lot of guys, they just think because, oh,
Items and how he
I put groceries in the house,
right.
I put gas in your car, or I give you money for gas. Because of quiet as it's kept, I ain't gonna keep it too quiet.
He care for you,
A woman, in my opinion, my woman, she ain't got to touch her car.
the material girl.
I'm gonna wash it, clean it, detail it, gas it, maintain it.
You know,
And if hers is having the issue,
you know,
you take mine.
how does he?
Because I don't want my woman out there riding in the car that's gonna break down on her.
Because a lot of guys, they just think
So you take mine, and then I'll go get this taken care of for you. And when it comes back, it'll be in better, it'll be clean, gassed, and ready to go for you. That's just one of the
Right.
areas, the how I move.
touch your car,
But some women got to watch out for that because they're not ready for that.
tell it, gas it, maintain.
That is true.
They're not ready for that.
I,
one.
and I'll
Just having the issue.
that same situation has happened to me a couple of times. But then it goes back to your original question. Well, not even the question, because it just really goes back to that woman's self-worth. If she does not know what that is,
It'll be clean,
and then she is
ready to go.
exposed to the way that she is supposed to be treated,
How I move.
we don't know how to handle that.
Some women gotta watch
It's
out
not
for that.
something
They're
that's
not ready.
familiar. And 9 times out of 10, she's gonna run or damage it, you know? And so it's going to take a special type of a person, one, to really understand that woman, that partner that he chose, and be able to love her through her flaws, but not only that, but to heal her. You know, like, it's super important that if you're choosing your partner and they are damaged, they don't know their worth because of whatever reasoning, that you have that ability to heal them, to heal those wounds and to help them grow so that way you guys can grow together. I think a lot of people think that you should have your crap together before you get into a relationship, but that's not always the case. Sometimes some people need other people to help them heal because it's things that you can't learn on your own. And we were talking about this the other day. We're not meant to be by ourselves. We weren't built that way. And so you can't expect to be able to take care of everything on your own. Some things you need someone else to help you with. So I think that aspect of it is super important. Sometimes we need help knowing our worth, especially when it is so damaging and you get something good and it's just so foreign. It's so foreign.
Okay.
So
I will add this to it too. And this is, I do like all these episodes I do are from personal experiences, what I've been through, what I've learned, how I've come out on the other side. And, you know, when you are really, really, really into someone, there's pretty much no limit to what you're willing to do for them. And
right.
Because you see a value in them that they don't see in themselves. And so I'll give this line that I've went through with a particular individual. This is what I said to her because I recognized that she was damaged. She'd been through some things, and that it changed her mentality and the way she was from the very first time I ever met her. And I was so into her that I told her that I'm willing, understand that word, willing. You're not forcing me to do this. You're not bribing me to do this. I am willingly. I'm willing to love you through all of your issues. And love to me is not a sexual thing. Well, I sum it up this way. Love to me is a positive action that reflects the way you feel about someone. You don't want to see them hurt. You don't want to see them homeless. You don't want to see them hungry, blah, 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 you know? So I told her that. And I'm going even further to help you even further. I'm letting you know I'm going to be here for you, that your issues will not chase me away. I'm not afraid of them. I'm willing to get you the therapy, counseling, whatever is needed to help you see your value. So I couldn't do any more than that because it takes two. I need your help and participation to go through this in order for this to grow past that and go higher than that. And because I'm single today, she didn't take it. She didn't take that help. So a person can only, like I said, they can only do what you allow them to do.
Yeah.
And which this other one is, I couldn't do any more than that because it takes two. I need your help and participation. Oh, here's the one. Once he has achieved his goals, whatever they were for you, once he has done all that he's achieved, all he set out to do with and to you, here comes the bad part. Because now he has to leave and move on and repeat the process. So here comes the repo. Here comes the repo of the logos, all the purses, all the clothes, shoes. If he bought jewelry, all that's finna go. As soon as you're out the house, you gone somewhere, he finna come in and get all that. Because you know if he do it while you're there, it's gonna be a fight.
Right.
And so now he's gonna go and run with that. And he's gonna leave the things behind that he really don't care about. Like if he got you something from the consignment store, right? Not Nordstrom's, not Bloomingdale's, not Louis, not Gucci, but from the consignment store. You can keep that because that don't mean nothing. He didn't really spend no money for that. And then he ghosts you. That is going to be something. I know somebody that got did that way. She came home and he was gone. So this is crazy to me. So that tells you have no value. If you say to yourself, then why does he keep coming back if he believes I have no value? You ready for that one? You got any input on that?
Go ahead.
I'm saying, I just want to give you a shot. Do you don't have anything for that one, or you want me to go first?
Why don't she come back? One, because she left him. And if she really did have value, then she, one, would not even allow him to come back. So he knows that he can. That's why. So it's not that he knows that you do. That's why he's coming back. No. It's because you don't. Because you know the way that you're being treated. You're allowing him to treat you X, Y, Z, and you accept it. So he knows that he can come, lay up, drink your milk, eat your cake, and he can dip out. And whenever he's ready to come back, he can come back. Because you're allowing him to do so, because you don't know your worth and your value. That's what I think.
Yeah. And so I wrote it down like, it's like, sister, because you keep letting him come over, I'm going to give it to you explicit. You keep letting him come over, bust nuts in you.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't you keep coming back?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're letting him basically come in your house, whether you paid for it or not. I mean, you probably did. Let's just say you did. You got your little house or you got your little apartment, and you got this dude in your life, and he just runs around the way he runs around, and he comes to your house when he wants to lay down and go to sleep because he's in the area, and you're the closest thing to there. So he comes over, probably done got a key because he done paid a little light bill here and there, or, you know what I'm saying, got paid for the landscaping once or twice. And you think you're building a relationship, and then he comes over there, uses you up, and then push on. You know, that has back in the day, that was the ticket. That's what we strived for. And I say we because there was a circle of us, and that was the talk in the circle. You know, I'm seeking an older woman that had it together, and then liking a younger dude and letting him have his way, you know. And then push on, you know. And so it's like, because you keep letting him come over and do that and behave that way, you know, why wouldn't he come back? And you can tell yourself whatever you like to keep it, so to help you tolerate his behavior and sleep at night, because you'll lie to yourself. Even though you know that he's doing you wrong, but you just keep telling yourself that it's okay. He's going to change tomorrow. He'll be different today. You know, it just rolls out like that. You know, he'll come through, give you some laughter. He'll, you know, may bring you a little edible arrangement, the small one. You know what I'm saying? And take you out to the place I cannot stand. I would never take a woman there. The little crab place. What's it called?
Red Lobster.
The Red Lobster. I ain't got nothing. Don't Red Lobster.
Look, if you took me to Red Lobster, y'all was really doing something back in the day. That was fun.
Red Lobster. Don't sue me. I don't have nothing against you. I just don't think that's the place for me to take a date. Now, I'm a very honest person, right? I pretty much tell people the truth, right? And when I say pretty much, I'm not always on point. But there's a person out there that can confirm my honesty. And I'm upfront. Because one time, we've been friends for a long time. And we laugh about this from time to time. I ran into her at a nightclub in Sacramento. In the inside of the Red Lion, when they were still there, the Red Lion, we was inside the Red Lion, and it was closing. And so I'm a straggler. So she hears my voice. My back is turned to her. I didn't know she's behind me. She hears my voice, and she calls my name. I recognize her voice. So I turn around, and I'm like, what? I haven't seen her in a long time, you know. So then she had her mom with her, right? So I was like, okay, cool. Hey, we talked, went to the little after hours thing next door, hung out for a minute, and then we was leaving there. And I was like, no, we ain't seen each other in a while. We need to catch up. You know, it's still a little bit early. You know, I said, let's go to Denny's, right? And so this is back when I'm going to give you that part. That's going to tell the story. Let me just finish it for you. So we get to Denny's. We go in there, we sit down. The waitress comes over, asks us about the water thing, get the water in the menus. And when the waitress walks away, I tell them, that you guys don't even have to look at the menu, right? Because I already know what you guys finna get. Each one of us is gonna get this $2.99 breakfast, right? Because we gonna do the $2.99 breakfast, right? Because that's all the money that I got for me. You know what I'm saying? I got work to do. I still got to get to work, but this is all I can splurge on, right? And we can add orange juice. You know, we ain't got to stick with the water. We can do orange juice, but that's it. And that story right now, if she was to listen to this, she'd probably bust up laughing, because that's just the way I am. I'm not going to front with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to let you know from the gate what you're dealing with. That way you choose it. I never want to take the power of choice away from you. You know, so if you choose me, you already know exactly what you're going to get. Well, now it's way better than $2.99, but you already know exactly what you're going to get from me. So I just think that's important to be honest. And this other one, it says, like I said, you could say, I said, you know, you can tolerate his behavior and sleep at night and whatever else you want to tell yourself. And then this other one, it says, one of the things that kind of keep you around longer than the last person is if you have outperformed the previous one, doing the same things he likes faster, better, more skillfully, going above and beyond. You might get a couple of new items. Those items still won't come from a sincere heart. Just it only comes from disposable income. So money that he's willing to throw away. So that's what we do. We'll look at how much money we made this week, this month, this day, depending on your field of play. And let's just say, okay, I got $5,000 this month to play with, right? So I'm gonna do something, but I know it don't mean anything to me, because this is all throwaway money. So I'm gonna go ahead and put you in the mix of that to make you feel special. You know what I'm saying? And so that, you know, that you keep operating the way that I want you to operate. And I have this new saying. Instead of think about that, I got this new thing called weigh that. Put that on the scale. Weigh it. Because I guarantee you, what I'm telling you is factual. And the way I know it's factual is because I was him once upon a time. I was that guy. And there's a lot of my family knows how I move, how I used to move. They know. It's not a secret. You know, I regret the way that I live now, because I realize now with the new mentality that I have and the new information that I have, the way that I operated was wrong. And because of that, I damaged a lot of women with my behavior. So I am aware of that. And this is, you know, I know I can't go back and fix it. But what I can do going forward is to give the education. This is one of the reasons why guys don't like me. You know, I'm telling it because it ain't right. You know, and then it's like I say to women, a man will not value something that he can easily replace. Something that he can find on any block in any city. That goes into, you know, what you were saying earlier. If I can see women like you in the same neighborhood, then I can find you come a dime a dozen. So I ain't got to do nothing. I ain't got to do nothing special for you. Nothing. Because I'm going to go right around this corner. I'm going to pull up in this drop top vet with no license plates. Drop the top. Pull up on her. And instantly, she's going to cooperate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, the competition of getting a woman getting a quality man with all of the old, I'm going to use an old school term, skeezers out there, right?
So I ain't got to do nothing. I ain't got to do nothing.
That's
Right.
willing to do all these tricks and circus acts and things like that. It's kind of hard for the quality woman to stay quality and still get a dude. But I just want to say you're not missing out on anything,
She's going to cooperate.
because if you hold out
Yeah, the competition
and stick to what you know is right,
a woman getting a quality man.
it will come.
All of the old, I'm gonna use the old school term.
I just had a conversation with somebody before we started this, and I told her, I've been telling people for a very long time.
All these tricks.
See, back then I was a penny stock, right?
It's kinda
But I
hard
said,
for
coming
a
up,
woman to stay quality.
my stock is going to be like, I'm going to transform into Bitcoin.
I do, but I just want to say,
My stock is going to be so high that the average person will not be able to access it.
and stick to what you.
I won't be easily accessible.
It will come.
And I'm going to tell you this. In 2012, I scripted a relationship application.
For a very long time.
When I'm done, when I get to this next level,
But I said, come
I'm handing it out.
my stock is going to be.
And I don't like the word dating. I hate it. But it will be a interview process. When I go through the applications, if you're not willing to do it, that's fine. Then you're automatically excluded.
not be able to
Cool, I'll just keep going. But when somebody does want to do it,
accessible.
then there's going to be this process.
And
We're going to go out to eat. I'm going to take the application with me. We're going to talk this through.
a relationship application.
Because there's some things on the application that you wrote out because you had a lot of time to think about
Get to
it.
this next level.
And I want to talk to you face to face so that when I ask you,
I hate it.
you don't have that 15 minutes to think about the right thing to say.
Go through the application.
Because if it ain't in you,
That's fine. Then you're
you're going to have to think about it. If it's not the way that you are, you're going to have to think about, you have to weigh it out and figure out what's the right thing to say here.
going to be this process.
But if I ask you what's 2 + 2, what do you say?
I'm going to take the application with me. We're going to talk this through.
Yeah.
Exactly. You don't have to think about that.
Some things on the application
It's
that
because you know that's what you know already. So that's my plot right there for that one.
face to face.
And then
Ask you. You don't have that 15 minutes to think about it.
oh, here we go. Here uh-oh.
Because if it
Here
ain't
go another one. It's almost over.
think about it.
It says there's no value
You have to weigh it out.
in a pretty face, a big Sealy Posturepedic pillow top ass, ample lips, self-standing breasts, and firm thighs.
It's because you know. That's what you know already.
If it doesn't come with moral compass, principles, high self-esteem, virtue, trust, communication, slow to anger, one who knows how to love because she knows the true meaning of the word love, is affectionate, knows how to be intimate, has a sense of humor,
In a pretty
economically intelligent, cooks better than me,
Sealy Posturepedic pillow top,
and
ample lip,
a lover.
self-standing.
Not a lover of another, her,
If it doesn't
a full partner in and out of the house, continually earns my trust,
communicate
trustworthy financially, trustworthy physically, emotionally. She values her body, loves the man
knows how to be intimate.
that her spirit chose 100% of the time, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 366 days a year, because there's a leap year in there, so I didn't want to exclude that. Never putting herself in a position to be disrespected or to disrespect her man. She's patient, discerning, focused, 100% committed in needed areas, and has a benevolent heart. Weigh that.
That her spirit
Last things, the word value is defined by Oxford Dictionary. It reads, the regard that something is held to deserve the importance, worth, or usefulness of something.
position to be disrespected
The other,
or to disrespect.
your support is of great value.
Patient, discerning,
Your support is of great value.
committed.
The second definition it has, a person's principles are standards of behavior, one's judgment of what is important in life.
Word value is
The eternalized They eternalize their parents' rules and values. Women, look up the word principles, standards, and behavior and weigh that. And then it goes down to the verb, how it's used as a verb.
Your support is of great value.
It's to consider someone or something to be important or beneficial, to have a high opinion of it. Weigh that. And the last one is women. Value is something that's kept, protected, maintained, and delicately handled. There's no day value in ratchet behavior, only late night value. 5-hour piece of ass between the hours of 10 o'clock and 3 a.m. in Motel 6 or the Ritz-Carlton. Your value is the same, no matter what hotel you go to. He only chose one or the other to be discreet, meaning which one he's less likely to get caught going in and out of by another person. Factor in four different STDs, multiple baby fathers, Section 9, because you done wore out Section 8. You graduated from Section 8 to Section 9. You're a lifer. So you don't have any value there, because if you've been, I don't knock Section 8. I don't knock welfare and all that. I've been on it. Not Section 8. I wish I could have got that. It's a stepping stone. It's a time that you use to elevate yourself. You know, and some people take advantage of that. I know people that have been on it and still on it since I met them way back in the day. And they're still living the same lifestyle on the same level, just in a different area. But the lifestyle is still the same. That's no value to me. I need some ambition in my recipe. That's one of the ingredients, is ambition. You have to be ambitious.
And some people take advantage of that.
Not to the point where you will sell your soul, but you need to be ambitious. Be ambitious.
Since I met them way back in the day.
That's it.
And they're still,
you have
the same
anything that
on the same level
you didn't get to touch on that you want to touch on?
But the lifestyle is still the same.
Just a little bit towards the end of that. Everything that you just listed in this woman is actually things that can be taught. There are definitely women, I think, that have these natural capabilities of just being all of that. There's genuine women who just know, one, how to provide, know how to communicate, to cater, to. It's just something that's just natural about them. But then there's other women who don't have that. But if the time is invested in her, those things can be taught. You can teach someone to communicate. You can teach someone how to carry themselves. You can, like, all of those things are like learned behaviors, you know? And I think that any woman, honestly, has the ability to be that type of woman. It just depends on the influence that she has in her life. It depends on the man that she has in her corner, because no man is perfect either.
Right.
And oftentimes we women are raising these men. We are molding you guys into these men that you are today. And whether you choose to stay with us after all of that hard work or not, all happens. We mold you into this wonderful piece of God. We went through the rut, the mud, the whole shebang, just to not come out reaping those benefits. Someone else gets those. But at the end of it all, those were learned behaviors. They were learned attributes that we taught you guys, and vice versa. You know, that woman may not know how to carry herself because maybe her mom wasn't that type of woman. Maybe her sister wasn't that type of woman.
Right.
But she only knows what she knows. You know, you can teach her how to cook. What if she wasn't exposed to that type of stuff? But if she's willing to learn, if a person is willing to learn and willing to grow and mold, that is what it should be taken into consideration. You know, I think that it's so hard today because we are a visual learning society. We learn from what we're seeing, and we don't have the best influence to go off of. The big booty woman that got all that cushion and pushing, you know, she may not be worth nothing if she doesn't have anything to offer. But those types of attributes can be taught to her if it's never been exposed to her before, you know, and if that's all that she sees on TV, that's all that she is around, that's what she knows. And I think that we all have the ability to change and to grow if we're put into that right position. And I think it's super important to make sure that if that is like the path that you're going, that your partner is just as responsible as she is in that growth process, you know? So at the end of the day, we as women, we carry a huge, huge load, a burden, honestly, that a man may not ever truly understand, and vice versa. You guys definitely have a burden to carry as well. But to be in this society where it's spoken on that we don't need you guys, and we have to be this type of a woman, this strong, independent woman. We have to look a certain way, have our hair a certain way. We have an attitude, this chip on our shoulder, like all of those things. And then just to be told that you still don't qualify, like you're still lacking this, you still don't have this, despite all that she may have accomplished or that she didn't accomplish, it's still not enough. But I think us as humans, we should take that time to invest in one another, invest in that partner, invest in that 10-3 woman, because she may have that potential and just may not have been exposed to the right elements to know her self-worth. You know, I'm definitely a person that likes to look at the greater good in people and look at things in a light versus, you know, negativity. So I always will have a brighter outlook on a situation. So that's definitely just my little 2 cents.
No, that's more than 2 cents, because I'm going to tell you something about that. I don't want nobody to think that this episode was me bashing women, because I'm not.
Right.
I just want them to understand that you are valuable, and I didn't see it when I was immature, but I see it now. And I just want to let them know that you are worth something. And like you said, that 10-3 could be, they don't know, because I'm going to tell you this. I talked to a woman one time, and she told me that the only way she knew how to be the woman that she was is she got that from TV.
Right.
Now, that's not a good place to get your guidance.
Not all.
You know what I'm saying? But her honesty let me know, and I appreciated it, because now I know what I have to do, you know?
Right.
And like I said about the one that I thought was going to be a one-night stand, it turned into a 6-year thing. You know, the qualities that was in that was a lot of caring, a lot of, like you said, the positive things, because I was a hostile kind of person, street angry dude. And she showed me a lot of things. And I was able to see, you know what I'm saying, that it was a different experience dealing with her than the things that the women that I had previously dealt with, because they didn't offer this part that she was offering me, because she was always going to calm the situation. She was always going to speak something positive into it, because she was a praying woman and I was a fighter. So she got me to that place that got me to get this prayer book that I got called Prayers That Avail Much by Jermaine Copeland, because I didn't know how to pray. So I get the book and I go through and find situations that's similar to what I'm dealing with, and I would recite that prayer over the situation. So yeah, she was part of the beginning of my transformation. So she doesn't know it, but she is a very important person that was involved in my transformation of who I am becoming today because of her and her willingness to invest in me when I was a mess. So I am willing to invest in someone if I can see the potential there that outshines the negative. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Like a person looked at me one time because I wasn't groomed up. This is when the pandemic first started. All the barbershops was closed. So 3 or 4 months, I didn't have a haircut or a shave because I didn't know how to do it because I always went to the shop. But leaving out of the gas station one day and me seeing this woman, and I was just blown away. I had to talk to her. And she actually invested in that and pulled over and everything. And we talked. She gave me her business card and blah, blah, blah. It went from there, you know. And I asked her, why did she do that? She said, because I could see the potential underneath all of that. So I clean up well is what she could see, you know. And I was like, okay, all right, I can live with that, you know. So, but yeah, I'm any type of quality woman, you know what I'm saying? I'm in. You know what I'm saying? If we're going down the same street, so to speak, means the same, we're trying to live the same way, I'm for it. And if you ever run across a quality one, feel free to say, hey, call this number, 510-459-0387. Ask for Othello. I'll take it. Because now quality, it ain't always in your zip code. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It is not always in your zip code. You know, it might be on an airplane. It might be, you never know where it's going to pop out at.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I know it's late on your end. And like I said, I appreciate this because this here is one of the longer podcast episodes that I've done because it's not just coming from my perspective, getting feedback on it. So hopefully we can do this again on that subject that we spoke on yesterday. I'm going to be doing some research on my end and put together an episode for this marriage. Yes. Yeah, I want to tackle that. I think that's beneficial there because I did speak to somebody that is been in the word for a lot longer than I did before we talked tonight. And I had mentioned that part about what you said. I ain't gonna say it on this episode, but what you said to me, and you know it blew my perm back. She said, yes, that's true. I said, oh Lord, I gotta fire this up. I got to because it explains a lot. And I was just so excited about it. And I still am, you know. And I'll just be glad when I can look forward to the day when, and I know it's coming soon, when this can be my all-day job.
Right.
Where this will make a way for me. I'm waiting for that day. It's coming. It's coming a lot sooner than I expected it. So I'm going to go ahead and do this outro. And then I'll let you know when it's done recording. Hold on.
Okay.